Hey up, Sofa Squad. Hey up, Sofa Squad, and welcome
Say that
to
5 times fast.
On the Sofa with myself and the usual suspects here.
Suspect? I resemble that remark.
Those charges were dropped and I was exonerated.
What are you, my dad?
Which ones? Which ones? Which ones, Will?
That money was just resting in my account.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I didn't steal it. It wandered into my account on its own.
I don't know what y'all are talking about. I don't know what state and federal laws I broke.
Yes, you do.
So it's been an interesting 2 weeks in the UK, huh?
It has, yeah. There was a vote of confidence in Boris Johnson, and
Which you hope there would be.
yeah, but
But how'd that go?
He won, but
Which I saw coming. It's funny. I remember we were discussing this in our little group chat, and Will, of course, being the asker of the stupid, obvious question. But is he going to be held accountable? Narrator: he was not, in fact, held accountable.
but he's a dead man walking, in my opinion.
Why? Because he's ugly, or because he fucking did something this time? He looks like, you know what? He looks like an embalming accident gone wrong. So actually, that's a pretty accurate term.
Also, the embalming accidents that go really well.
Or just a bad facelift. It's the hair.
Why can't it be both?
It's apparently
He went to, the amateur undertaker was in charge of dressing him for the coffin.
He's got a colic over here. He's got a colic over here. He's got a colic over here. That's his problem.
Yeah, it's like he was trying to be like alfalfa on steroids.
No, but he's purposely messy. And he's not Val Kilmer. He's not Madonna. He can't get away with it like certain people. Like Andre 3000 is purposely messy, but you're like, hey, that's his style, you know?
Yeah, and then there's me, the flaming train wreck.
No, Boris Johnson, like, literally looks like my uncle. Cut your hair, get a shirt that fits.
He looks like he's on the first week of a good meth addiction.
Oh, Lord. Sometimes his hair reminds me of my 4-year-old in the morning.
His arrogance is really what drives me crazy, though. Because after his vote of no confidence, he's back to the blundering, like, rah, like finger pointing Boris, you know, because perhaps
he's oblivious to the implications on his dead in the water career now. Because I remember us discussing how apparently he won by a slimmer margin than Theresa May.
That's right, yes.
So sorry.
And don't forget, when Theresa May won her vote of confidence, they forced her to resign about 6 months later.
So are we going to start a betting pool on when and whether and when it's going to happen to Boris, or are we assuming it's going to be like the impeachments went with Trump? That is the question.
Really quick,
that's what I'm waiting to see.
Before we move on, was Theresa May's ABBA dance before or after her first vote of no confidence?
That was at the conference.
Okay.
I think
Josh, if you scream at your game one more time, I'm going to shove the switch up your ass.
Because her ABBA dance is legendary, and if you haven't
seen now,
if you have not seen Theresa May ABBA dance, you should definitely.
I think that was before her vote of confidence. But I've got the stats here. He got 211 people voted yes, and 148 voted no. And he did a lot worse. He actually did worse than Theresa May in her vote of confidence. As you just said, and he did worse than Margaret Thatcher, who resigned a week later, and he did worse than John Major, who he didn't resign, but then he got a thrashing by Tony Blair in the next general election. Tony Blair won by a landslide. So historically speaking, it's not looking good for.
So Tony Blair won in a landslide, but was there any escape from reality? Fuck you.
Can
The
they-
Queen joke was funny.
Can they have another vote in 6 months?
Actually,
No.
isn't he exempt from it for a year?
Yeah, that's right. Technically they can't put in another vote of confidence against him for another year now.
Mm.
But what I think will happen is the backbenchers who voted against him, which I think is about 70% of his backbenchers voted against him, they will make life really difficult for him now. They will probably rebel against any law that he tries to put through.
Woohoo! Obstructionism!
Yeah. So and in doing that, they will force him to resign, because they'll just make life impossible for him.
I hope they do.
Because that's pretty much what they did to Theresa May. Then they deliberately voted against her Brexit deals, and she had no choice but to resign. And so I think a similar thing will happen to Boris Johnson. They'll get him out.
So basically, it was like a constructive dismissal for Theresa May.
Something like
That's what they call that here. When they make your life so difficult at work that you end up being like, "Fuck this, I quit." There's an actual legal term for that.
Do you know, I'm kind of reliving all my Theresa May PTSD. I forgot that she said, I love my country. You should look that up. That's funny too. When she was crying when she got fired, basically.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
she's like, I love my country.
you know, one day when I'm feeling sadistic, I will look that up.
But if you listen carefully, you can hear knives being sharpened in Westminster. Now, I mean, we're in a
Gosh, that.
we're in a House of Cards situation now, where you've got the people like Michael Gove,
What about Michael Stopp?
and the forerunners, the big names,
Jacob Rees-Mogg.
publicly defending Boris Johnson. But you just know behind the scenes they're plotting against him. They're plotting his downfall, and they're preparing for their leadership bid.
What was that scary thing that you responded to on Twitter where what's his name was stroking that woman's tabs?
Yeah.
Excuse me? Stroking her what?
The people. I'll show you. I'll show you actually.
Okay. Sorry. I'm jumping ahead. It was awful.
Because
Well, think of it like the previews before the movie.
I just can't say his name correctly, so I try not to pronounce it because I can't say it correctly.
Oh God, you're like me.
No, I'm just being polite because I know. Also, we all know I blunder and stammer, so that's not the issue. I just don't want to come off as an insensitive racist. I just can't pronounce his name.
Wear stool.
properly.
Yeah.
You don't
Don't
want
have
to
any problem pronouncing it.
Will's a racist.
See, this is Savage Javid.
Yes.
And one of see what he does. That's his colleague there. I don't know her.
Excuse me?
So,
Excuse me, bitch?
if you look, I tweeted, if you look closely, he's not touching her leg. She has those tabs on her folder, and he's playing with those.
He's not playing, is what he. Man, in America, if I did that,
I don't know. It kind of looks
I
like
would
he
be
is
on
playing with the
probation.
wrong part of her body.
I was going to say, that's almost enough to get a 6th grader sent home for the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just the day?
I think it was.
Oh, please, if
Yeah.
somebody did that to me, you know what? Nope. I'm going to behave. I am a child of the Lord. I am a virginal child of God.
Yeah, but it's not. Linda, who tweeted that originally, she's saying that's still not okay, and I guess she's got a point. It's not. It's still a bit dodgy.
I have space issues, so if I don't know you, I really don't like people up in my bubble anyways. And it's not even a rude thing. I don't walk up to strangers and just randomly touch them.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
And I'm pretty sure he's married.
Oops.
Has that
And
ever stopped any pervert ever?
No.
It didn't stop me.
But yeah.
Anyway, yep, blah blah. Sinus is a whore. Blah blah.
But it's all part of this culture in Westminster at the moment. It's a horrible culture, and it really needs investigating properly, not by someone on the payroll, by someone properly independent.
Hire a PI or some shit.
Well, part of the problem is what we're not talking about is the cost of living crisis. Like, your country is slowly going down the tubes, and ours is as well.
So is ours.
Anyone paying attention?
Gas is like $5 a gallon here. It's killing me.
So no, I'm not. Those in glass houses, I know, but it scares me how much they're ignoring what's going on with the average citizen. Here in America, they
like
try to
here I am
like
working 2 jobs. I actually got a second job, and back in the supervisor saddle at another hotel, because of course I'm in hotels again, and I got still barely getting by.
Yeah,
but and it's like that. It seems like it's like that anywhere that there's anything resembling Republican people in power, shall we say.
Out of curiosity, is everybody blaming Boris for the cost of gas and inflation?
Probably not.
Or do they just blame Biden?
Yeah, I think the Labour Party are blaming him. Yeah, but I can't remember what the Tories are saying.
Yeah, but that's not even really his fault. That I can't stand that. We have that thing in America too, where everybody blames the president for the gas prices. The president does not fucking control gas prices. I'm assuming it's the same with the prime minister. Oh my god, that smarmy, smug look.
I see
smack the shine right off his face.
The average American does not know what's going on. So,
well, yeah, most people are stupid.
So. This is the story that we've just been talking about. Boris Johnson wins vote, but suffers large Tory rebellion. This is from BBC News. And it says, Prime Minister Boris Johnson has won the backing of a majority of Tory MPs in a confidence vote, despite a significant revolt against his leadership. The PM won 59% of the vote, meaning he is now immune from a Conservative leadership challenge for a year. In all, 211 Tory MPs voted they had confidence in the PM's leadership, while 148 voted against him. Mr. Johnson described his confidence vote win as decisive.
Well, according to Trump, he won by the biggest margin in history.
It was huge.
But
considering Walter Mondale only won one state, I think he's wrong.
Who the fuck is Walter Mondale?
But Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer said a divided Conservative Party was propping up Mr. Johnson after he survived the confidence vote. And Liberal Democrat leader Sir Ed Davey said while Mr. Johnson had clung on to power, his reputation is in tatters and his authority is now totally shot.
We agree.
Finally.
Hi, fuckers. I know what you want, but fuck off. Yeah, you too.
We want to see the fuckers. We demand puppies.
But I think this is a gift for the Labour Party because they will do a lot better in the next general election against a wounded Boris Johnson than they will against a new leader.
Oh, good puppy.
But the Labour Party is still arguing that Boris Johnson should go because his behaviour has damaged British democracy, and it's a bigger issue
Well,
than
it's a
just
pity
the
you can't
conservative.
protest without a permit.
No.
Sorry.
If you guys had some protests, that might push them a little further down the line off the cliff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. Well, yes. Exactly.
Are you like you're legally not allowed to protest anymore, so you can't go to the streets and riot?
I think rioting is
No one's
illegal
allowed to
anyway.
riot. That's like murder. It's versus killing.
Well,
It's
you know,
okay to
I'm
kill,
from the
it's not okay to murder.
I'm from the West Coast. I got in this argument the other day. I had a friend from Oregon who was like, "Oh, in LA they riot," and I'm like, I remember when the University of Oregon won like the national championship. They burnt down half of Corvallis, and that's a college. Like we riot in America.
Somebody remember when the Eagles won the Super Bowl? When the Eagles won the Super Bowl, forget it. The fucking streets were on fire.
LA took down half of Long Beach.
Every time the Lakers or Dodgers win, we lock our doors. Like,
But it's like, shouldn't you be rioting if your team loses? Why are you acting fools and rioting when they win?
It's funny. It's funny. No, I was just wondering that because once you lose your voice, you're at that point you're just getting told what to do, and that's the scary point. You know.
1984, motherfuckers. You laugh, but I'm not joking.
That was almost like a song.
I saw some jackass that his banner on Twitter was said something to do with it's tyranny when healthy people are having their movement restricted. And I'm like, who the fuck restricted your movement? What universe am I living in where you had your fucking travel? What? You could go anywhere. Just
it's amazing how people overstate the small things and understate the huge things, you know.
Yeah, guns not a big deal.
Exactly.
Mask.
Exactly. People
Yeah.
the cops sitting there and just standing around while somebody murdered a bunch of children for over an hour. Oh, that's no big deal. But it's a problem when Obama wears a tan suit.
Yeah. But
Biden was on Jimmy Kimmel.
That's nice.
But what has made me laugh is the bootlicking Tory MPs that have been coming out trying to defend Boris now. And
bootlicking or bootlicking?
Yes.
I've got a good. Hang on, if I can click on the right button.
I kind of saw you die a little inside when I said that, Mike.
Here's the funniest example.
They wanted the vote. They've had the vote. He won the vote, so it's trying to move forward, not backwards. So I understand there's quite a few backbench MPs not happy with the Prime Minister at the moment. But look at the
majority.
Well, look at the back. Yeah, well, look at the backbench. I'm a backbencher. I'm quite happy being a backbencher. I don't want any promotion.
You're the minority, though.
I don't want the pay packet. I've got no agenda. There's lots of people on the backbenches that have been frozen out.
No agenda.
Positions in the past. They're probably a little bit grumpy. They probably think
you're going to lose your seats if you stick with Boris Johnson, aren't you? Because all the public opinion polls in the last 6 months have said the public think he should resign.
The last Hugo poll puts me winning my seat at the next general election. The people of Ashfield, the good, sensible people of Ashfield, will trust me on what I deliver for my area, like the Towns Fund.
Okay, but some of your colleagues are not in that same position, and they are worried about their seats.
Well, what my colleagues need to do, some of these colleagues that's been here 20, 30 odd years, whatever, they need to go and work the patch.
Why does this guy look like he's about to pull somebody over for DWB?
2019. If they do that, if they work hard, if they get in touch,
he looks like one of them DWB
cops. It's as simple as that. People don't look at the Prime Minister's character and think he's a man who's lied to the Queen, lied to the House of Commons, lied to the public, and they don't trust him anymore.
What people see, Geeta, is a witch hunt led by the BBC, led by the Labour Party.
It's the Conservative parties voted, not any of the
from day one.
$5, he says,
it's about time you got off his back. Let him crack on with the country. Come back and talk to me in 2 years' time when he's delivered on his promises, and then we'll see where we are.
There is no witch hunt, I can assure you, from
there is a witch
BBC
hunt.
or any
my inbox is full of people complaining about the BBC all the time, saying it should be defunded. There's a massive witch hunt by you and the Labour Party and the mainstream media on his case all the time. Even that, you don't want to let this drop, are you? You're going to go on and on and on.
Well, it's not about letting us drop, and it is not a witch hunt by anyone in the press. Our job is to ask questions of all politicians, which is what we do, regardless of party. The point is that 3/4 of backbench MPs have voted against the Prime Minister.
So,
well, that happened.
Do people not understand what about the press anymore?
I have to, wait a minute. Do you guys even have guaranteed freedom of the press over there? Do you have actual like guaranteed freedom of the press?
Well, nothing's absolute. No right is absolute.
Brian Stevens, I'm not saying that the BBC is innocent in any way, shape, or form, but as a society, we have the right to have a nosy press. I don't think people understand how important it is to have people asking questions at all times.
And this is why I'm asking, does the UK have that inalienable right instead in like some sort of legally binding document, such as a constitution or Magna Carta or whatever?
Or something a queen said.
For that.
It'd be nice to Freddie Mercury. My favorite.
Not that kind of queen.
I mean, but that's just one example.
You know all about those kinds of queens, considering you patronize them on the street corner every night, wouldn't you, Artie?
The fuck did all of that? That's quite a story.
Artie's in left. Artie, that was out of left.
Well, you know what? Of course, I'm in left field. I'm a fucking Democrat. I'm also very sleep deprived.
Okay,
so
man, that's enough. Cut her off.
Yeah.
She's had enough.
Bartender.
I haven't even had anything to drink. I'm stone cold sober. I'm just very, very tired.
Whatever it is, fix it.
But that's
boy. I work. Let me explain something to you, motherfucker. I'm working 2 jobs to make ends meet.
I love you too,
I'm working
Jewel.
2 jobs to make ends meet. My life is a flaming dumpster fire. If I want to make jokes that make no sense, you will let me live my life, or I will smack that sense into you.
Like you could afford to get here.
But anyway,
I got 2 legs.
There's just one example of
Technically, she could afford to come there. It's not that expensive.
Of bootlicking Tory MPs who are desperately trying to defend Boris Johnson. Now there was another Tory MP who was accusing the BBC of making Boris Johnson look like Hannibal Lecter.
Can I make a point about the BBC?
Oh God, who let Stool in the chat?
Stool, I love you.
Who let Stool out of his cage? You know, we were having a very nice few weeks, and now here he is.
Stool, get in here.
No.
One of my degrees, I studied telecommunications in college, and part of that was broadcast law. And I was sternly of the opinion that it was a good thing that the United States government didn't have any contribution towards the media and the who decides what qualifies as news. And then I realized that the BBC does a real good job of, well, there's got to be some kind of limit where your government will fund it,
limit on BBCs,
but they won't do any, cannot affect editorially. Is that a thing? Because you don't seem to have that in this country. We sure as fuck would.
I think it should be a thing. Yeah.
If whoever was president was in charge of the media, you know, it would be like North Korea around here.
Mike Pence wanted to have an Indiana media news department. What is he going to call it? The Indiana News Department. Have it be funded and run by the governor's office. Holy fuck, are you shitting me?
Yeah, that's not, you know, state funded propaganda channel coming at you live.
The idea went away pretty quickly, but that was the will of Mike Pence when he was governor.
Trump wants something similar federally?
I don't think
Trump was a man-child. Trump was a man-child stomping his feet mad because all the social media companies kicked him off because he was bad for business.
You can't call Trump a man-child. That's an insult to man-children like Josh.
You're only allowed to lie about so much for so long before somebody steps in and says, would you shut the fuck up?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know, that's one thing I hate about the internet. I honestly think humanity probably was this stupid all along, but the internet just provided a wider soapbox.
What was it? I heard a really pithy comment about that. Never mind. I'm not going to come up
You
with
have pissy comments about everything, Artie. That's nothing
it.
new.
Pithy. It's not fucking Spanish. Pithy.
You know what?
I'm not from Barcelona.
You don't have to be from Barcelona to be a pissy motherfucker because that's exactly what you are.
But the BBC isn't perfect, as we see from this article.
Well,
BBC
certainly. But it's just interesting that the BBC walks a very different balance than our media does.
But did they pipe in booing? Because I don't watch the BBC. I watch Sky News.
Well,
Y'all keep saying BBC, and I am not thinking of a news outlet. Somebody needs to slap me.
the BBC has hit back at claims it laid down the booing of Boris Johnson through the editing of footage. It has said a different audio track was used in a later clip of the Prime Minister's arrival at the Queen's Platinum Jubilee Thanksgiving service. Among those accusing the BBC of editing the footage of Johnson and wife Carrie's arrival at St Paul's Cathedral was the Labour MP for Swansea, who called it a frightening revelation of fake news.
Shut up.
Did anyone see this? Did anyone see Boris Johnson and Carrie arriving at Thanksgiving service at the Queen's Platinum Jubilee?
I did.
Being booed horrendously.
Really?
Wait a minute. I'm zooming in on this. Does he have a bald spot in the front?
They were.
We typically call that a receding hairline, but
There's cell phone footage. This is why it's kind of tripping me out right now because Sky News was showing people's cell phone footage. You could clearly hear people booing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't in just one venue. Boris Johnson went to multiple venues and was booed multiple times.
Yeah.
there's
You know,
a video.
you would think there'd be like some sort of trigger or like some kind of shame switch that would get flipped there, and maybe he'd stop showing his face in public. It ain't like anybody wants to see it. We're all gonna turn to stone looking at him.
In today's world, you can't necessarily have propaganda in this direction because you can clearly hear it on people's cell phones, and these are just shrubs who are there, happy to be there. You know. They're just happy.
Accidentally reported crimes.
These are people who ordinarily would have been supporters of Boris Johnson. You know, these are people who are loyal to the royal family and ordinarily would be supporters of the Conservative Party and supporters of Boris Johnson, and they were booing. And it's been. And when it was live, you could hear the boos, quite distinctly. But then in a later edition of the news, it is claimed that the BBC showed an edited clip, and they toned down the boos.
This is kind of a classic narcissistic tactic. When there's clearly something that happened, they point out something else. They're like, "Oh, you rigged that," not addressing the fact that he was booed. Like we all could clearly hear it. They're just trying to draw away from the fact.
Crazy making, history revision.
Yeah, they're just pointing the finger, saying, "Oh, no, you were booed," and again at multiple events.
There's video of Mike Pence when he was governor throwing out the first pitch at a baseball game in Indianapolis where the governor's house is and all of his offices and all that shit. And the entire fucking stadium booed. It's probably the nicest minor league baseball stadium in the country. And it seats 40,000 people and there's probably
40,000 people booed.
Yeah. Almost all
Love
of them.
that. That makes me happy. These are the little things in life that bring me joy.
I was both thrilled and frightened to death when Mike Pence got named Trump's nominee for vice president because I knew what kind of theocratic dickhead he was. But he's also so fucking white that he would temper Trump. And that's
Dude, even his hair. That's not even an exaggeration. Like, even his hair. Like, his hair, you know what his hair reminds me of? You ever go outside when it's really sunny after a huge blizzard and the snow is so bright that it gives you a fucking headache and your eyes hurt. That's what his hair reminds me of. Seriously, like, I mean, for God's sake, Artie, you live in the Midwest. It snows out there a lot, apparently. That's what I've heard.
Sometimes.
Like, so have you ever gone outside, it's sunny out,
Yes,
like a day or two after some huge blizzard, and it's like nothing but snow on the ground, and the sun's reflecting off the snow?
He's got Steve Martin hair.
That's an insult to Steve Martin.
I know.
You dare insult our fucking
He's not
Steve Martin that way.
I guarantee you will not see this.
Mike, are we going to talk about? I don't know the young man's name.
Yeah.
But are we going to talk about the young prince's reactions to the
Louis,
plebs,
Prince Louis.
to the commoners?
Oh, I want to hear about that. Will and Kate have such kids.
Maybe if there's time, I think. We'll
Okay. No, there's a lot that's happened in the past 2 weeks. There's a lot that's happened.
See what happens?
yeah,
Go on
a lot.
vacation and the world blows up.
But I'm just
Yeah.
trying to-
Damn it, Mike, you missed a really good stream last week. Me and Will did a little hiatus hangout about the death verdict.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
No, we did.
Johnny Depp won. Justice for Johnny Depp.
I was way too drunk when that started.
Okay, so what? You could have still been here and been drunk. I would have loved to hear your drunk
No,
input on this.
Trust me, when I admit that I was too drunk to do it, I was too drunk to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. You know, kudos for self-awareness.
You can go back and
I
watch
mean,
a
it
lot
still
of
would've
movie
been
nights
fucking
where
funny.
I was up well drunk by midnight and then stayed up 4 more hours drinking. There's plenty of that kind of footage.
Oh,
I'm
Lord.
going to show you guys this because this is quite.
But the Queen welcomes them as someone they're part of her family.
The Prime Minister just arriving with his wife.
It's quite booing in the crowd.
Well, and you can hear it. There is really quite a lot of booing, actually. Wow. A substantial amount.
This is live and unedited version.
Do you think there's anything to the fact that she's got her Kentucky Derby hat cocked so that you can't see him?
No, that's it. They
but
just
the
do
Queen
that sometimes.
welcomes them as
Okay.
someone who's.
So that was the live and unedited version.
Blinder.
And
No,
this
you
is-
know the weirdest hat I ever saw, the weirdest British formal hat I ever saw was Princess Beatrice's hat when William and Kate got married.
and this is the edited
So yeah,
version.
body language experts, lip readers, they'll all be looking and seeing what they can see. Hopefully that isn't the big story that's going to come out of today. Hopefully it's a family gathering together to recognise the contribution and the service of their boss. She's the boss of the firm as well as being the kind of matriarch figure of the royal family. And certainly, I mean, I hope the Queen this weekend, in the midst of all the celebration, also she's going to get to meet her 1-year-old granddaughter or great-granddaughter Lilibet for the first time.
Yes, she turns 1 tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yes.
So birthday celebrations there too.
Yes. And while we talk about family, Catherine Butcher, the Sattler in
So they edited out the booing?
Maybe I was
thought they
watching.
edited in the booing.
Maybe
No.
I was watching.
I was way off base there.
Oh, I thought the sound person did an amazing job of trying to shut down.
What's that about a
the low
sausage snuffer?
tones?
Exactly.
And then the whistles were coming through, so he shut down the whistles. Then realized that he fucked up everything, so he had to put the whistles back. But you could hear the whistles, but not the boos. So
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta give him credit for the audio engineering there.
whoever that person is, they deserve a raise because that was honestly for a live broadcast that was impressive.
So that's what they were complaining about because Sky News did them wrong. Like they showed multiple angles of people booing Boris Johnson at every event he went to. Every event. You know, I met George Bush in the height of the Iraqi war in California, and he didn't get booed. And he didn't get booed, you know.
He did have an Iraqi throw a shoe at him though.
You know, I had to explain that to my son the other day. I was like, wow, what a world we live in. I had to explain the whole scenario.
What I had forgotten was that the guy threw both shoes. But
legend. He's a legend he's an absolute legend.
He's not quite the guy at Tiananmen Square, but he's close.
Okay. Anyways, moving on to our next story. This is quite interesting. You guys in America have got Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh yeah, we do.
We've got Nadine Dorris.
Is she
Oh
unfortunate
God,
looking?
you've got your own MTG.
No, I know.
Hate that for you.
I know who she is.
Thick neck, unfortunate looking woman.
Stop.
She basically admitted that the Tory COVID preparedness was inadequate in a Twitter spat that she had with former colleague Jeremy Hunt. She got into a flame war with Jeremy Hunt on Twitter.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Seems to have really gone her way.
I bet no one ever made fun of Jeremy Hunt.
But
They
They would have if his name was Mike.
It's a little like fucking with a comic, though. You just don't talk to somebody who's earns their living with words.
Yeah. But it says here, Johnson loyalist Nadine Dorris launched into a Twitter tirade against fellow Conservative Jeremy Hunt, where she admitted pandemic preparedness had been found wanting and inadequate.
Wow.
So that was a bit of an own goal for her, really.
That's just honesty, though. That's
Yeah.
I wouldn't call that a cell phone. I would just call that was remarkably honest.
Well, she reached the point of frustration was like, no, you guys are liars.
Yeah, I mean, there's like 3 Republicans that have done the same thing.
Mm.
Honestly,
Dawn is saying his surname is always mispronounced on the news. It's hilarious. Yeah. I think it was Sophie Ridge on Sky News, and accidentally,
Well, nobody asked you.
accidentally referred to him as Jeremy Cunt.
I've seen that.
I don't know if anyone saw
Honestly, that goes through my head every time you say his name. Because I just turn his first name into Jeremic.
It's one of those things, though. That's why nicknames are cruel, and you should be careful because one day it will slip out. Like in Star Trek, when they say instead of Lieutenant Barclay, they call him Broccoli.
Yes.
You know, like eventually one day it will slip out.
That's what she said.
Yeah, let me tell you. I can tell you from experience, it slips out a lot more often than you'd think.
Did you say that's what the priest said?
No.
I wasn't that kind of Catholic.
But,
I'm sorry.
What can you say? What can you say to a priest and a fat lady on the beach?
Oh, I was
Get out
born this
of my
way.
sight.
I wasn't made this way by a priest.
But basically, what happened was Jeremy Hunt. I think he said on Twitter that he would vote to. He was going to vote against Boris Johnson, and she went on a Twitter tantrum against him.
Jesus Christ!
And basically accusing him of being underprepared for COVID, and saying that his strategy, his COVID strategy was inadequate. And people dragged her for it, basically. Saying you basically just admitted that
You
your
love
own
good Twitter dragging.
your party's your own party's COVID strategy was inadequate. You just thank you for being honest about it at last.
Why can't they admit fault? Like in America, eventually they'll just be like, "Hey, I messed up," because they know nothing's gonna happen to them anyways.
Right.
It's really weird that they just can't say, "Hey, like we flubbed up. Hey, I went to a party. I did a bunch of yayo with Michael Gove. I had lampshade on my head. I'm sorry."
Well,
You know,
Wilfred. What did you say?
yayo, like Tony Montana.
Yayo!
My
Yayo!
my whole point is they start having these pointless fights.
Yeah.
And we can see the problem is we can see the results of what's going on. It's not like you say, oh, everything's fine, and literally there's a fire behind them.
But Nadine Dorries, she can't help but open her big mouth, just like Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's always.
I wonder what would happen if you put the two of them in the same room. No, Josh, they're ugly old women.
I'm increasingly convinced that she's smarter than I thought she was, and more of a cunt than I realized.
My pops used to say, never underestimate the stupidity of people. So you don't say like, oh, people aren't that stupid.
No,
I don't remember who said it.
I operate under the assumption, like, I'm in the middle of a custody battle for my kid right now, and I'm preparing a certification in support of the counterclaim I'm filing, and the way I'm writing it, I have to assume that the person reading it will be an idiot. You always assume that the person reading whatever you're writing or listening to whatever you're saying is a complete fucking numbskull, unless you know from personal experience that they're not.
So, Mike, at what point, when did Twitter start becoming newsworthy in the UK? For us, it was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Like 2016?
It trips me out. It just trips me out. Like when I see, someone said on Twitter, like I see all kinds of crazy stuff on Twitter.
Ever since Brexit, I think.
Shit.
Yeah.
So around the same time, it became newsworthy for us then.
Yeah.
I got accused of an ad hom because I told this kid that I said, between the two of us, I'm not the arrogant, pretentious asshole.
Oh my god! Oh my god! She even looks like an older Marjorie Taylor Greene.
He said that was an ad hom. I said, no, motherfucker, that was an insult.
but here is Nadine Dorries, so incorrectly saying that we're at war with Ukraine.
The girl.
Oh wow! You know what? That's more like Sarah Palin level. Oh, Paul Revere made his ride to warn the British that the Americans were coming.
Oh,
she let her mask slip. She's probably she's saying what she wants to happen.
Her face looks like pudding skin.
She literally, honestly,
is that what you said?
Yeah.
What you said of Jeremy Hunt today.
Well, if they're shocked, it's because they're probably people who are going to vote against the Prime Minister anyway. And what I would say is probably demeaning of a former cabinet minister and somebody who puts themselves forward as a potential leadership candidate to repeatedly say they're not going to issue a challenge while we're at war with Ukraine, and then on the day Russia fires rockets into Kyiv, issue that challenge.
Yeah.
First of all, Kyiv, I'm pretty sure it's Kiev.
It's not. It's Kyiv.
Whatever.
Oh, I learned something today. Yay! I like learning.
No, we've been pronouncing it wrong my entire life.
Okay. I learned something today. Yay! Yay! I like learning things. Because I'm not an idiot.
But she keeps putting her foot in her mouth, and
it's open mouth exchange feet.
I don't know. It kind of seems like the whole leg is in there. It kind of seems like the whole leg is in there at this point.
You know what though? I want to say I would do Nadine. What's her face? She looks like every other woman in California. She's probably had some plastic surgery. She sits in a tanning bed. I'd roll her dough. She has terrible politics.
She bitches about the woman that does her nails perfectly.
Yeah.
it is scary how incompetent she is.
Mm-hmm.
Stupidity in general, the increasing level of it is terrifying all over the world.
What's terrifying is that like as a Western society, we keep on electing these idiots and putting them in positions to ruin our lives.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. From birth. Her parents clearly did not love her. They named her fucking Marjorie in whatever the hell 1978 or whatever year she was born.
and then this one and this UK version, Nadine.
Exactly.
That is such a grandma name.
Nadine sounds like Little House on the Prairie.
No, honestly, no. I knew somebody. I knew somebody named Nadine. It was one of my friend's moms, and she lied to my mom so I could have a sleepover at my boyfriend's
I've got a
house
friend
one time.
named Nadine that's considerably younger than I am. That's less of one.
Yeah, I can't talk shit about the name Nadine.
I can't even name a famous Marjorie.
Marge Simpson.
We don't know that. You don't know
Marjorie Dursley?
Marjorie Tench. She's in a Dan Brown book. I can think of a bunch of characters in books with that name.
Oh, Marjorie the housekeeper, and wait, Marjorie the housekeeper in Pet Cemetery too.
Yeah, that one actually. She's famous, not real, but famous.
So Boris Johnson waters down ethics code and blocks watchdogs' powers to investigate him.
Imagine that.
God,
yeah.
This headline is.
I think we need to know.
Clearly, newspapers have stopped existing because nobody writes a headline for a newspaper that has that. That's a fucking sentence. Boris Johnson waters down ethics code and blocks watchdogs' powers to investigate him. That's a complete fucking sentence.
Self-explanatory.
It's not the title of anything.
What they're really saying is that
what's gone?
That's the Cliff's Notes version.
The PM has the power. The Prime Minister has the power to tell, like, nope, you're not going to investigate me. You're not going to investigate me.
Okay, so we lost Mike.
Yeah, that's scary.
Well,
what are we going to do?
Tried to do the same thing.
I'm sure they won't be gone that long.
Yeah, hopefully not.
First thing I wanted to say was the reason that the United States ended up with 3 conservative judges is entirely because of Mike. Well, not entirely because of Mike Pence, because the Democrats should have gotten one at the end of.
Well, yeah, but that obstructionism bullshit. Where were you? Where were you, young man?
I don't know. I got chucked out for some reason.
I did it. My bad. I'm sorry.
God damn it, Artie! This is why we don't let you around things that have buttons.
But where was I? Oh yeah, it's just days
motherfucker.
After the damning Sue Gray report, Boris Johnson has watered down the punishments for breaking the ministerial code and blocked a bid to grant his ethics advisor the power to launch his own investigation. So whereas before the ministerial code said that if you broke the code you had to resign, he's changed it to make it say that you just have to say sorry if you break the code.
I live by a very strict code. It's whatever I say it is that.
Yeah, that's such BS. It's not even funny. We should all be scared. We should all be scared that he did that.
Yeah, that's a genuinely frightening thing. That is genuinely some 1984 speak.
That's some animal farm shit. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others.
This one you've got the wrong Orwell. This is definitely government speak.
Yeah, but this is like a slow dictatorship. He's like slowly chipping away so they can do whatever they want.
Right.
Do you know what's gonna happen?
It's like fucking Palpatine getting more and more emergency powers between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith.
I'm not
trying
trying
to have a full-blown Lord Sidious by the end of this bullshit.
I'm not trying to age myself too hardcore, but Vladimir Putin, except for 6 years, has been president since I was in high school, and that was over 26 years ago.
Yeah,
or something like that. Like Vladimir Putin's been around since I was in high school, and I haven't been in high school.
Yeah, I'm old enough to remember him being alive.
So you said you don't want to age yourself too much. You say you don't want to age yourself too much, but given that information, to where do I special order your walker, Will?
He got elected by supporting the perestroika thing, and that turned into, oh, wait a minute, remember when you were KGB? Yeah, I'm gonna go back.
No, because I'm shocked. Every time I look it up, he did relinquish power for like 4 or 5 years.
He didn't relinquish power. He promoted himself to a job that didn't exist when he got voted out.
I was kind of shocked. He's been dictator since I was in high school. He's been in charge.
It's so funny to hear, especially people on the right. Ronald Reagan must be generating electricity for California as fast as he's spinning in his grave. Republicans on the side of Russia in a conflict in Europe. Are you fucking kidding me?
So will we live
Yeah,
in?
really. Oh, how the times have changed.
Next.
I'd love to have
The world's on fire.
I'd love to have that conversation with my dad, but he's so fucking far gone. The dementia's taken over his head. But damn it,
Actually, that could be an interesting conversation.
I can't actually.
No, the whole reason
okay.
I bring
Yeah,
that up
okay.
is because what's to stop Boris Johnson from becoming the next Vladimir Putin, where
Right,
he
he's
just
too-
doesn't go away, where he's like, "This is my office."
The
and I'm
clown
gonna be
nose
here
and
forever.
the goofy shoes, I think, is probably the thing that's going to keep that from happening. He's more of a target than fucking Kavanaugh is.
And he's like,
I like beer.
and he's no Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill smoked cigars, had herpes, and a hooker habit.
Oh yeah, he's one of the
Like Boris Johnson is nowhere near Winston Churchill.
No way near.
Could somebody mute Stool in the chat because I was having a very nice day.
We love Stool.
But
I tolerate Stool with absolutely no affection and mostly burning hatred.
Okay, so this I heard them talking about that. This is why everybody was kind of losing their stuff at PM Question.
He's acting according to one MP. Boris Johnson is acting like a tin pot dictator, as ministerial code has changed.
and that's really insulting in your country.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but it just sounds like a gravely insulting term.
Sounds like a cosmological argument.
Cheshire MP Mike Amesbury says Boris Johnson is acting like a tin pot dictator after he changed the parliamentary rules. He followed up his claims by repeating his consistent calls for the Prime Minister to resign. So, and I think another member of Parliament said pretty much the same thing as well.
It's one of those moments where Stool would come in handy.
Yes,
No, don't. It's like summoning Beetlejuice.
I love Beetlejuice.
I
love Beetlejuice.
Oh wait, I did see Beetlejuice. I
effing love Beetlejuice.
I think.
Wait,
we're not summoning Stool.
Heavy D. Shit.
But is there
Biggie Smalls?
Stool,
I want Heavy D back.
Stool would know this, but I'm pretty sure that you can't just change the ministerial code just like that. I'm pretty sure it has to go to a vote in Parliament. Where to make you can't.
Unless the ministerial code was changed to say that it doesn't have to go through a vote in Parliament.
I think that might be the legal argument, is that everybody thinks that, but until they do actually point it out.
But
whose responsibility would it be to say, okay, no, because I actually
beetroot juice is the juice of the. You know
what? That's the problem. The UK doesn't have a written constitution in the same way that the US does.
Perhaps you need one.
And I think
you should have a Declaration of Independence too. Oh, never mind.
I think,
you know what?
And I think it's about time we had one.
Yeah. I'm not even laughing, but I like
in the course of human events.
It's sad but true.
You would think,
it's sad but true.
You'd think with the Brexit there would have been a Declaration of Independence moment, but nope. Nope, it was way more of a anybody feel anything?
Put it on the side of a bus and people will vote for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell them we're going to take care of them, the suckers.
The Stool says
That's right. I saw that.
Mute him. Somebody mute him or ban him from the chat. We are adults. We say motherfucker.
No, Stool is 100% correct. I saw that's right before I fell asleep because I stayed up to like almost 5 o'clock in the morning watching everything.
You're such a rebel.
That guy, well, it's summer now, so I'm in full pirate mode. But he did resign.
Don't stop pirates. Because the butt pirate will start his bullshit again. I just gotta quiet down.
I want you to think about this. When the guy who's in charge of ethics quits.
Yes,
That happened to
Look,
Trump.
that's how he throws his hands up and throws the towel in.
Trump's ethics advisor quit. 3 different guys quit.
But that's what I'm saying. Boris Johnson is he's a shrub, and he's doing all this obvious.
You mean a scrub?
No, a shrub. Where I'm from, calling someone a hedge is insulting. You say, "Oh, look at those shrubs over there."
Well, he's see here, he's a scrub.
He's just pointlessly standing there. You know?
Scrub. A scrub is a guy who can't get no vote from me.
Now you're showing your age.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that song may actually be older than me.
Mom played it in your crib.
I remember when that
No,
came out.
my mom. No, I don't think my mom listens to TLC. My mom is more of a Dire Straits kind of person.
Down with your mom.
And we have got time to talk about.
You know what, Artie? My mom needs a decent man in her life. Not that I'm advocating you, but you'd probably be better than my stepdad.
Look at that face. Look at that face.
This sucks. I wish I was dead.
But
Grandma, get me the fuck out of here. Holy shit, you're old. I could go all day.
You know what though? I tripped. Like, the one thing that did make me laugh was when you saw the children's face when their grandmother was sitting with Paddington Bear. I laughed because their grandmother is literally the effing queen, and they see her all the time. They're like, whatever. And they see Paddington Bear, and they're like, oh, it's Paddington Bear with my grandma. You know, that made me laugh.
Great grandmother. The bitch is old.
Hey, where I'm from, there's great grandmas around here.
I had a great great grandma when I was a kid, little kid.
Look at that.
I think, but the article says this: Prince Louis joined the Queen on the royal balcony at Buckingham Palace alongside Prince Charles and Camilla, his parents Prince William and Kate Middleton, and siblings Prince George and Princess Charlotte.
What an unnecessary comma between the word George and the word and. This is bad writing.
And but I don't know. I think he may have sensory issues.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting looking at that. There's definitely I agree with that theory.
Pretty good chance he's on the spectrum. I mean, that's not an issue. That's just who he is. But pretty good chance.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, but you can tell. It's Baron Trump too. I'm pretty sure Baron Trump is on the spectrum.
You're gonna make me take back my comment, huh? I still there's footage of him, like, as a parent. There's this one scene where Kate is leaning in and talking to him. I'm like, ooh, I know what she's saying to him. Look, they're right there.
There you go.
She is like, when we get home,
I forgot that he was this. I forgot this fucking.
Honestly, this picture, when I look at it, it reminds me of me and my mother.
This is because to the end part. There's more.
Not my mom would have broke my wrist.
Yeah. Robert. God, I can't think of his last name. He posted the video. It's like, I don't know. It's like 13 seconds of it, and it's just that. I might take back the fact that the kid's on the spectrum because he's just a dick.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And you know that the second he did that in Kate's head, she's like, this picture will be seen around the world for the rest of the show. She knows. She knows.
Control on that fucking kid because that kid is the one in control.
This is what I was trying to say. Like, he's gonna
he can't be king, can he?
Well,
he's only 4 years old.
Yeah,
I know, but he's the one person that's qualified.
It must have.
He's a child. You know, he's the same age as my daughter. He's practically a baby.
Yeah, but
well,
those kids are like so well trained. They get like, I can't say the word. Is it elocution classes? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, elocution. Yes.
We call it cotillion where I'm from.
It's kind of funny that you can't pronounce, or you're concerned about your ability to pronounce the word elocution. I mean, that's
I had
genuine irony.
When I was a kid, I couldn't pronounce L's or R's, and I got mad therapy, and it worked. I got tons of therapy, and it worked.
So
You got mad therapy instead of speech therapy?
So you were
The California thing when you say mad, like you know, like
you were
mad.
born Asian, is
Oh,
what you're
shut
trying to say.
No, you know. You know what? You know what?
I'm
You
already
know what?
canceled.
You know what?
So,
LOL.
yes.
You know what? LOL. Stool can't fucking step outside without turning somebody to stone.
No,
Shut up.
I can't. And I eat left-handed with all the. I eat with both my hands with both the forks, the salad fork and a turning fork.
Okay, if you're using 2 forks, we're gonna have to kick you out.
Why are you using 2 forks? Do you not own any knives? Are you
We're gonna-
okay?
We're gonna have
Like,
to ask you to leave.
No, I do have an extent.
We're gonna need you to pay for your food and go ahead and leave.
Stool, just
wait a
for
minute.
old
This is
time's
medieval
sake.
times. Why do you even have forks?
Stool for old time's sakes. Emu, camera, woman. When
Emu.
it's I couldn't pronounce the word emu.
Emu.
No.
Emu.
Emu?
Emu.
Emu.
I think they're both
Stool,
correct.
it drove Stool mentally. But it's my, you know what it is? It's my Southern California. It's my Southern California twang. It really is what it is.
Anywho,
Any whore.
we've been we've covered everything that we were going to talk about, I think, and a little bit more. We've gone over the 1 hour mark. So,
There's Stool in the chat. Emu.
thanks to you guys for coming along and joining me as always.
Letting you
And,
just blather on but endlessly.
Nobody asked you, Josh.
Thanks to everyone in the side chat, and we'll see you next week.
Don't fuck it up
at the usual time.
Stop it.
Maybe I'll see.
Until then, bye for now.
Bye,
We're off
Felicia.
now with the clock out.
No.
I'll see you tonight, Will.